So, while I was making my VTuber model in a live 2D, I noticed some weird things happening when I was doing the hair.
Huh?
Basically, you know how my hair is like segmented?
Yeah.
So I took the black parts off of my hair to work on the yellow part. And then when I looked at the yellow part by itself, I was like, oh my gosh, I accidentally made Boruto. Hello everybody, my name is Kenyaki, and I am here with my co-host.
Hello everyone, my name is Seth.
So if you looked at our video last time, we did fusions for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Now we're doing synchros. We're only doing the base synchros, the one that came out with the base game, because if we were to do the new ones, we would literally be here infinite, because it keeps updating.
That it does.
So, you may have noticed a couple of things have been changed. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Actually, the big reasons why this video is taking forever to come out is because VTuber model take forever, and I wanted to finish that first.
It looks really good, honestly. Congratulations. That's really impressive.
So, same as always, we're gonna have the same tier lists. Number 1, King of Animations. Number 2 is Tier 1. Then going on to Rogue, 3rd Rate Duelist, and 4th Rate Deck.
Excellent tiers.
Now, without further ado, let's begin.
Let's rev it up, everyone.
So first things off, everyone's favorite, specifically my favorite synchro. It's not good, but it's my favorite synchro monster. It's Junk Synchron. Not Junk Synchro. Junk Warrior!
Junk Warrior. There you go. Junk Warrior is really awesome, honestly. Just it's so hype whenever it shows up in the anime, and it gets this awesome scene towards the end too, and it's a classic. It's like the Flame Wingman of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
I actually think its introduction is cooler than Flame Wingman. Like, specifically how he appears in the anime. He goes up and then he does this speedy thing and then he punches the cameraman because he doesn't like the camera.
Unfortunately, we don't get the spinny spin in this animation game, though.
As someone who is now a live 2D rigger, I can confidently say that that is almost impossible to do, or at least I'm pretty sure no one has figured that out.
You have not dreamed hard enough.
But I still like its animation. It's little scarfy things, waves, its arm moves a bit.
Yeah, I like it's still, despite, being humanoid, the scarf gives it a nice, circular feel. It's good to look at.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated, but there's something that's about it that's really charming.
Yeah, simple and clean, I say. High tier.
Alright, I'm going to, since we have nothing to compare it to, I'm gonna stick it in Rogue, and like always, our list may change as we add more things to it. Alrighty, next up is everyone's favorite card that is actually still pretty good, Stardust Dragon.
I love this actually a lot. I mean, it's partially the art of Stardust Dragon is also just amazing. But I also just like how it pops out, like it just as the wings kind of spread a bit. Like I really like that touch. It looks really good, I think.
Yeah, I like. There's actually a lot of moving parts to this animation. It's like its head, its claws, its tails, its wings all move independently as far as I can tell.
Yeah, you're right. They really did add that bit of attention to detail everywhere. It looks like. I'm
gonna put it, for me, it's in Tier 1.
Okay.
It's definitely better than all the other dragons that we reviewed.
Oh, easily.
Alright, so now let's go to the opposite of Tier 1 animations.
Yeah.
Shooting Star Quasar Dragon. It's Quifort Towers level.
Okay, to be fair, the art doesn't give them a lot to work with here, but even then they don't work with what they've got here.
Yeah.
It just kind of tilts to the side, and to be fair, I see that, as kind of a flight path, but it kind of just bobbles.
Its arms move a little bit, but it's very close to just being a floating PNG.
Great.
It is at least better than Towers, though, because at least it moves slightly to the left.
The bar is low, but it moved.
Alright, now let's jump to something that's actually amazing. Red Dragon Archfiend.
Very nice.
It's so... I like Stardust Dragon, but this one's so much better.
Okay, look, it really does have, like, power just from the arm movement, you know? Like, the wings are great, too, by the way. But, like, also just the added bit of arm movement, like, yeah. Almost like it's flexing.
Yeah,
or
but
getting ready to flex on you, or, you know, I like it.
What brings it over the top for me is how it opens its mouth. And the horn that...
Oh, yes, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, if you pay attention to its horn on the top of its head as it's moving, as it's opening its mouth, it moves with it. So whoever did the live 2D art for this one, it really knew what they're doing.
No, that's good. No, that's a nice touch. Like, that's not something I would notice immediately.
I noticed it almost immediately. Although that could be because I'm used to doing this now. Yeah, alright, this one is automatically king of animations.
And you know what? That fits. Jack Atlas, the king.
How I wish that there were more than 24 hours in the day.
He gets to be
He's the master of faster, and may or may not be Australian, depending on who you talk to. Alrighty, let's move on to everyone's favorite unaffected card that may or may not be OP when it first came out, Blackwing Full Armor Master.
You know, this card is really iconic despite how much I hated fighting it. It was hard to kill, and it's pretty strong.
It looks so cool, though, but then again, so does Dingrisu in the Screw That card.
Oh my gosh, Dingrisu. Anyway, let's see. This animation, I think it's pretty okay. Pretty okay, good actually. I like the way the wings spread out.
I really like how he shoots the little whatever that is. I think it's a grenade launcher.
Does it shoot or no? It just
just aims it.
Yeah, and you can see the hair move in the back, even though it's kind of like behind the wings. So, like if you look in the lower left, you'll see that that's moving too still.
Yeah, and its cape moves as well, his little waist cape thing. Synchros, aside from Quasar, synchros are pretty strong. I'm gonna put this in tier 1, behind Stardust.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go to everyone's favorite psychic monster of the archetype that no one ever plays except for those two cards, Psy-Frame Lord Omega.
Yay!
I like it how in the Japanese version, it's just the horseshoe Omega symbol.
Yeah, they play with those more, but I guess for us Westerners, they figure, we'll just Romanize it.
Western people don't know how to read correctly, which is not entirely false. It's just like Crow, where he learned how to read with cards, except now if he tries it, he's going to be very confused. The animation, let's look at the animation. This one is alright, I guess. It's better than Quasar, at least.
I like that the lightning effect kind of repeatedly glows. It's not like movement, but it's, you know, it does add a layer of, you know, dynamic to it. It's also the art that's a little difficult on my eyes generally. I guess it is a cool card though.
Yeah. Actually, one thing that I do appreciate, there's a tiny, tiny touch in the hands that his hands, like, open a bit. Which you're barely going to see, but I can still appreciate it. I still don't think it's that good, but it's okay. I'm gonna put this in Rogue behind Junk Warrior. Alright, let's go to my favorite archetype of all time, but is also unplayable. Ursarctic Septembron, which I think that's how you pronounce it. I played this deck, I don't know how to pronounce it because Space Bear Gundams. Well, I really like this archetype, but it sucks. It's slightly more playable than Crystal Beasts.
Hey, we have those, you know, we take those. It's always nice to have just not really a guilty pleasure.
But also the deck is dirt cheap, except in Master Duel, which it costs as much as the other decks.
Why?
Anyways, back to animations.
They do the circle thing again. That is a much more dynamic animation actually for the frost that is going around it. This theme is kind of cool. I mean, space. They're not just space bears, but they're also in mecha suits and all that. And
I'm not sure if this is like frost effects or it's just the water effect that comes with the attribute, because this is water attribute.
It's galactic and it kind of orbits the monster. Kind of neat.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But
the actual animation, though.
It's nothing too special, but I do kind of like it.
Well, yeah, it's getting into position. It's gonna attack. Yeah, it doesn't like stand out, but it's also like it certainly doesn't bore me. It's not bad.
I still quite like it, but it's just okay. I liked it better than Omega, but not as much as Junk Warrior.
Yeah, fair. I think I agree. Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to my second favorite archetype, Speedroid Chambara. I really like Speedroids, and I also really like Yugioh's Japanese voice actor. He's amazing.
He is. Both of them, the Yuto and Yugioh, they're actually brothers in real life.
Yeah, they sound really
they're
similar
both good.
Yeah, but let's go back to Chambara. I like its animation. It doesn't move very much, but they do something unique to its animation. It actually moves like it's supposed to.
Yeah, no, I actually like that little jab. But that's actually how the quote-unquote toy moves. I just like how he's riding on a giant knife, basically.
Yeah, he's riding on a giant knife, and he has tiny swords in his hand, and he's swinging it like it actually matters. Yeah.
I don't know if I like it more than Junk Warrior, though, just because that's not really dramatic as far as movement goes.
It's unique, but it's not as technologically impressive as Junk Warriors.
Yeah,
but I do like this above
like
Septemtron.
I do too. I have that like right behind Junk Warrior.
Alright, let's move on to everyone's favorite. I actually don't know why this has an animation, but it's Coral Dragon.
It draws you a card.
It draws you a card. You'd think that they give it animation to Formula Synchron, but no, they give it to Coral Dragon.
Actually, Coral Dragon is still a really good animation, I think. I noticed the mouth moving almost immediately.
Yeah, its head is in a two-step process. It moves back and then forward a little bit.
But yeah, the mouth keeps moving throughout the animation, and let's see, I don't think the tail moves though. But the head moves. Oh, actually no, the tail does.
The tail moves. Yeah, the tail does move.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It elongates a little bit up.
Yeah, as the monster gets bigger. So I think this is actually a pretty good one all around.
The only thing that I don't really like are its little front arm spiky things going down. I think that could use a little more work, but the rest of it works pretty well.
It's more refreshing than some of the other dragons that we've gotten before. I think favoritism had Blue Eyes higher than it kind of should have been.
Blue Eyes do be Blue Eyes.
But this is pretty solid, pretty good actually.
I'm gonna put this above Septemtron.
Above Septemtron.
Okay, let's go to my favorite dragon of the Dimensional Dragon. I really like this card. Clear Wing.
You can do it.
Clear Wing Synchro Dragon.
Synchro Dragon.
I was gonna say Clear Wing Crystal Dragon, but no, that's a different card. It's very hard to remember which one is which.
Clearwing is really cool. In fact, Arc V is a frustrating show for me to watch because they actually pack in a lot of lore. It was basically the anniversary anime for Yu-Gi-Oh! And that show frustrated me a lot during the Synchro arc. But Clearwing does not frustrate me at all. It's a really cool card. It's actually, I think, themed a bit around bees, because of one of the lines in 5Ds about the masses moving like a beehive or something.
I don't think it's the best animation, but it's definitely not the worst.
Yeah, it's a card where I would have liked more movement after the arms come up, or the wings, I should say. I think they're supposed to be like the wings have a laser-ish effect on them that we don't get here.
Yeah.
Or it would have been nice to see that flash, I think, but oh well.
I think his little, like, waist flaps also extend a little bit, and his tail also moves.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those are neat.
There's a lot of neat touches here, but I think it could flow together a little bit more. So I'm going to, even though I love this card, I'm going to have to put you underneath Septembron.
Yeah. Alright, here's everyone's favorite Chaos Synchro. Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon.
There is absolutely no way I could have remembered that on my own.
Me either, I had to obviously look it up, but this is so cool.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It barely moves, but its effect is so good.
Sometimes a little movement is actually a good thing, because, you know, it's got that presence and majesty. It's, you know, like a king who doesn't unsheath his sword. Like, he doesn't need to move much, but that little spread of the wings and then that awesome animation as it charges, like, that little ball of energy. It's like, it's simple, but clean in, like, a really good way.
It charges its Kamehameha as all it does is draw you cards.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Cool.
I really like how smooth its wing animation is.
Yeah.
This is... Oh, this is either above or underneath Junk Warrior. I can't decide.
No, I'm sorry. I'm putting it above Junk Warrior.
Alright, I'll put it there too.
Alright, up next, we have Karakuri's Super Shogun Model 00N Brave.
How
That's a name.
How does Konami keep coming up with these names? They just have like a random name generator?
Oh, actually, I really like this one. Like, well, just like the movement is really good. I mean, obviously, really dynamic. Like, it's not like the coolest card ever, but that's one of the more dramatic movements we've seen.
I like the up motion better than the down. I think it could use a little more work, but overall, it's still pretty good. There's so much going on with this card, too. If you look at its little... I don't actually know what the word is, but those little, like, tassel things that's on its chest, it also moves.
Oh, wow. They
went all out for this one.
They really did. It's not a card that I, like, you know, but they actually did. There's a lot of animation here. I kind of can't rank it low, honestly.
I like this one better than Junk Warrior, actually. I was not expecting that.
As an animation, I have to respect that. So yeah, I actually have it in tier 1 behind Stardust Dragon because it doesn't look that good.
Alrighty. Let's move on to I don't know where this design comes from, but everyone's favorite Colossal Warrior. He's a very, very big boy with no pants.
I know I shouldn't mope around, I shouldn't curse, but the pain feels so much worse.
He's Elemental Hero Clayman, just does Synchro, and wow.
And better stats.
Way better stance.
If you look at its head, he actually looks upwards.
Huh.
Which, I do not like the design of Colossal Warrior, like, at all. It looks way too weird to me, but I do like this animation.
You know, the animation is good. He really does, like, look imposing. Like, you know, just the rising action and also his open hand over there on the upper right. That one also keeps moving throughout.
If you look at the part where his breastplate meets his abs, it actually elongates.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely, yeah, because I was wondering, like, why it looks so imposing, and that's actually part of it. Just that little adjustment there actually really does a lot to make it kind of stand out.
I think it's a combination of that and its head looking upwards. It's not just, like, head moving upwards, it actually it's looking upwards in a 3D fashion. I quite like this. Even though I don't like the card's design, I like this better than Chambara.
Also, just being bigger than Chambara, its movements feel, you know, more. With Chambara, it's like, okay, we need to make it move, so stab.
Alright, let's move on to the archetype that I would have built IRL if they haven't, like, made Daki ultra rare, you need 3 copies and they haven't reprinted her in forever. Mayakashi, a fox person of which name I need to look up.
A few inches later.
Yoko, the graceful Mayakashi.
Yep, that's her.
This is an amazing animation. I like this a lot.
It really is. They didn't have to do that with the spirit swirl there, but that's really, really cool. Like, really mystical, and it's stuff coming out of the book as well.
Yeah, immediately that's the first thing that pops up. But also, there's also a bunch of subtle things as well, because her tails move.
Her hand too, actually. Like, every part of her is kind of moving. Yeah, even her head. Even her head does a little dip there as well. Yeah, someone really likes the Japanese. Yeah, someone really likes the Japanese-inspired art here.
I'm gonna look at Stardust again, because there's a possibility that I like it better than Stardust.
I was actually considering putting it at King of Animations because, but sorry Stardust, but you have direct competition. That's excellent.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. This is going into King of Games, but it's below Red Dragon Archfiend for me.
Yeah, it's hard to top Red Dragon Archfiend. Now that I'm also considering making a live 2D avatar for myself, I'm just like...
It's the illustration is the cheap part. The rigging is what is costing you the pretty penny.
And it's not just having good art. It's accentuating it.
It took me, I want to say, a little over 2 weeks of non-stop working, like 4 to 6 hours per day, rigging mine. And although bear in mind that it's the first one I did, so obviously there's a crap ton of that time is like learning it in the first place.
How many days did it take you again?
A little over 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's a lot of it, well, for me at least, a lot of it's trial
that was your
and
first
error.
one.
And
yeah,
I was also working with
well.
like a non-standard VTuber model. Is like, for one thing, my head is way bigger than almost every single VTuber model I've ever seen.
Anyway,
so my
2D.
face specifically is asymmetric. So if this is like the standard, looking straight forward, you can see that my like face shape is asymmetric. If I go like this, it changes a little bit, but if I go like this, it changes completely. And that that took like a crap ton of troubleshooting, so I'm probably not gonna do that again. I really like it. I like hair that flows in the wind.
And most handsome in all the land.
Alrighty, let's move on to Void Ogre Dragon. To be honest, I've completely forgotten what this card does.
It's another giant 3K beatstick who negates for fun.
Fun!
Anyways, this guy's animation, you know what? Just because it's a dragon doesn't mean the animation is amazing. But I will say this is a cool card.
Yeah. It's alright.
You know what? The thing with dragons is that the coolest parts for me tend to be their wings, but Void Ogre here has some really mighty claws. So I would like to see the claws be made cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm getting that here.
His claws don't actually move. Just his arms.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah, so
You're right.
I still do generally like it, but I'm gonna put this behind Cyframe Lord Omega.
Yeah, I think it's around there for sure. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's move on to everyone's favorite card of their favorite archetype that they always love going up against, right next to Eldritch. Emancipator Risen Dragite.
Yay!
Don't you just love the excavation animation in Master Duel? It's your favorite animation ever.
It's yeah. I really like the splash art just in general. Like the art itself leaves such a strong impression. It reminds me of Stardust, how it's just bursting onto the scene.
So do I. I like how the wings have segmented animation. There's like a top layer and a bottom layer.
Yeah, I saw that.
little. I think that's Animator Researcher on his little shoulder there. Doesn't have an animation, but his staff does glow.
Okay, that's good. That is good, because yeah, they should have the little guy up there doing something.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I like this though. Everything is kind of moving. Even the legs are stretching out.
Yeah. The claws move a little bit, but not what I'd say very elegantly. If I were to guess,
it looks like they're moving like on the same plane as one of the wing sets, actually, almost.
For me, looking at the claws, it kind of looks like the claws are on the same layer.
Yeah,
and so they're kind of. So here's a little lesson on Live 2D. There's what you can call a warp deformer, which basically you put onto a layer, and then basically you get to like move parts of it around, and then the rest of that layer will move with it. It kind of looks like they just put a warp deformer on the back 4 claws of its left hand, instead of like putting in a warp deformer or like a rotation deformer on each individual claw. That way they can like move them separately and they have a lot more control.
Yeah, and I actually really noticed that when just looking at the hands. I mean, obviously I'm not like, what's the word? I don't say this to be mean to the animators or anything. It's a tough job to,
they have to
take care of all these
like,
animations.
Like over 200 plus different animations and growing as new cards get added.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I like the effects in this game.
sometimes you just have to be efficient.
So this is just when we do this, it's like we're not being nitpicky to be mean. We're just, trying to appreciate what art was or was not done here. So
yeah,
still obviously massive props to the whole team. But still good.
I like this better than Cyframe Lord Omega.
I am moving it. Yeah, I have it actually at least on the same tier. I like it almost on the level, maybe on equal footing as Colossal Warrior. That's where I'm kind of feeling.
Let's go to everyone's favorite Bedolce card. card that people put in every single art type, regardless if they include dragons or not. Borrowload Savage Dragon.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Revolver really is an awesome character, and he has some really awesome dragons, and Savage Dragon is definitely one of his best and most meta.
Actually, now that I look at it, his little flare things that come out of its wings are actually really cartoony looking.
Yeah, they are. That is actually kind of funny. I think it's more of the arts issue, but because it's included in the live 2D, it does kind of look a little goofy, like he has fairy wings something.
It does not match with the rest of the art, but I think that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I need to re-look at this in the anime. I want to see how they do it.
It certainly has a lot of movement, or wide movement, I should say.
It has wide movement. I think there's like, we can probably separate it into like left and right wing, main body, and then legs.
I think also
those are the
arms.
big ones. Yeah, arms.
Also
Yeah,
arms.
and the arms and a little bit of the head.
The tail is also, well, maybe the tail is just like you said on a layer, but
yeah,
I think it's uniquely done.
It's all right. It's all right. Nothing. Actually, no. Its mouth also opens. I think. Yeah, his mouth opens.
Oh, it does. Oh, okay. There we go. Nice.
I could
Points
barely
for
see
subtlety.
that because it blends in with the card art.
Yeah, but that is still nice. I think it has kind of too many wide ranges of movement. Like nothing in particular stands out. It just like is big and on the scene.
Yeah.
I do like the bit of the mouth opening. I really like that subtlety, and the mouth is obviously a point of interest when you're making dragons. So
They could have maybe made his little wingy things flare, or maybe like lighten and darken. Although to be fair, I have no idea how his little wing things are supposed to work. I don't know if those are wings or if those are boosters.
Yeah, I think they actually might be boosters, which explains why they look awkward. I feel like if they could put the boosters here, well, never mind. I was gonna bring up Clear Wing again, but nah, I'm not gonna. It's not bad. It's just not blowing me away, I guess.
I'm going to put this below Cyframe Lord Omega.
Cyframe Lord Omega is an important reference here, huh?
Yeah, it's the cornerstone, just like Odd Eyes. Alrighty, next is everyone's favorite level 9 monster that's definitely not QB. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier.
This is one of my favorites, definitely. I love this. The wingspan movement is really nice and dynamic, quick too. I appreciate that. It doesn't look like it's dragging. And when it slows down at the end, the heads bobble. Like, it really does look like it's coming for you, kind of thing. And I like this a lot. This is one of my favorites. It doesn't have a lot of movement, though. I don't think it really does.
If you look at its little arm head things, they look inwards, kind of have a 3D effect as well. I'm gonna put this. Actually, no, I like this better than Stardust.
Okay, yes, I know, but it looks so nice with Stardust Dragon up front.
I know.
Okay. Anyways, they're both great. That's all that counts.
Yeah, and I still have to find a clickbaity thumbnail. So.
A few inches later.
All right. This Draco something. True Draco masterpiece, I think.
Wait, I don't think so. I think this is a Is this a Crystron?
Oh wait, no. I think yeah, Crystron.
Yeah, it is a Crystron.
It looks like a true Draco.
Okay, yeah, the names are. Oh no,
Crystron,
the names are old.
Hold on.
Is that?
Alrighty, I'm going to do something real quick. I'm gonna do a fun.
Be nice.
Christeren Quarion Gonrex.
I don't know if you're able to hear that, but I copy-pasted its name into a text-to-speech, but for some reason it was in Dutch.
Oh no.
Okay, let me do English.
Christron Quarion Andrax.
Okay, yes, that is a good one. Alright, so introducing...
Crystron... Introducing...
Christeren Quarion Gonrex.
Okay, English, actual English version.
Christron Quarion
I
Andrax.
couldn't hear it, so double check your audio to make sure that the viewers hear it. But yeah, Quarion Gandrax.
Quarion Gandra. If the viewers don't hear it, I'll just edit it in. It's
Alright.
really stupid. The Dutch version is so stupid. Oh. Anyway. I have no idea what this card does, but it's funny and a big number.
Okay, so what I don't like, and maybe this is me being basic, the movement is very slow, even though it's still kind of grand. I guess it depends what else is moving. Let me see the details here.
I think it could definitely have been more dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it's moving its arms up, I guess. And
kind of.
Yeah, you can miss it.
It needs to be more dynamic, especially with its pose. Its pose suggests it's very dynamic. Like, it's a very dynamic pose, but the animation doesn't match.
It is posing, but I wish like the arms had like a stronger movement, because like with the wings moving behind it, it's like kind of, it feels kind of blah.
Yeah, the arms are definitely its weak point. I'm going to put this behind Void Ogre.
Yeah, actually, that's about where I would do it.
All right, here's the card that everyone summons instead of Trishula. Virtual QB Shenshen.
The Trishula Killer. I actually do like this one. It's not like anything that special, but I feel like just it looks like how a creature of that shape would move. Is that a low-hanging fruit compliment?
Well, if you don't notice anything, then it's the animation's doing its job.
I think it is doing its job. Like, that's a very natural-looking movement. Like, it's not exciting, but it's also just, like, I don't know what else I would do with it. So, I think it's good.
Well, its little tail things that's coming out of it also move, but it's very haphazard. One thing that I think could have improved it, because we've seen this in, like, several other card works, or card animations, is if the little, like, the lightning thing on its neck was actually animated, or at least like, flash on and off. I think that would have helped a lot, because we have seen those in, like, several other animations.
Yeah, that's true. They really should, if they can, they really should, like, make some of the accessory parts of the monster interesting to look at.
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's not terrible, but this is underneath Void Ogre Dragon.
Yeah, that is a good point of reference.
Alright, next up is another card of which effect I've forgotten, but he has a horse. Shiranoi Sun Saga.
Wow, this guy barely moves.
It does, but the horse actually has an animation. It actually has a fire effect to it. It's a miracle.
Are we talking the main, like, the main part?
If you look at the horse, the fire particles that are on top of the horse's body, they actually flicker.
Oh wow, you're right. Oh, okay, wow. Oh, that is better than literally everywhere else. Like, that is actually, that's really cool. That's a
It's
shame
better than
otherwise.
Shen.
It is. That effect alone. I didn't even catch it at first, but now that I actually see it, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see in the video because the bitrate isn't that good, but it is definitely visible.
Yeah, no, I see it now for sure, and I really like it. I'm kind of sad that it otherwise does not move a lot.
There's like no other particle effects. All of the budget went into the fire.
Yeah, that is kind of a shame. Like, if there was more of that, like, I could handle, like, the monster, like, barely moving, but, like, if they actually, like, had those effects there, and maybe if, I don't know, the hair waved a bit more, and the sword also had that particle effect, I would actually rate this rather highly.
The parts that do move, like, especially its ponytail, I mean, it does squish a little bit, but not to the extent that I would like. This one is above Void Ogre for me. If it weren't for the fire effects, it would be below Crystron or even Third Grade Duelist. I can never remember this guy's name. Flameville or
Flameville. That's a weird one to pronounce. Quasar?
Quizaz.
A few minutes later.
Come on, Dutch pronunciation.
No, please.
Flamville Urugwizas.
It's actually not bad.
Okay, so this guy's animation, that's pretty dynamic in a good way. I actually do like this. Like, it's basic, but also just good.
It has another fire effect.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 for 2 on fire effects, but 0 on 0 for lightning.
Yeah, that is a shame. Yeah, I like the flicker there.
Aside from that, it doesn't have a whole lot else going on.
It really doesn't. It's another one of those plain-ish ones, unfortunately. But I do like it more than some of the other ones in that tier, just because I think that's a good character pose.
Actually, if you look at his little chest muscles, they also, or whatever those are, his chest Konami orbs, they actually move a bit. It's very subtle, but especially if you slow down the footage, they do move a bit.
I think I actually might have him above Psyframe Omega now that I think I am. I think I do have this above Psyframe Motor Omega.
You know, I agree.
It's close to what I like with Simple. You know?
Yeah, I remember getting this card as one of my very first Synchro monsters. I was so happy, and then I realized that it actually sucked.
You don't have to realize that.
Let me dream. Let me have my fun with my main deck, Flame Swordsman.
Oh, the door hurt me, Joey.
Here, let me do it.
Kaboom!
Alrighty.
Okay.
This one is, I think, Noble Knight Emperor Charles.
Infernoble Knight.
Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. How the heck did I remember that?
Good job.
Japanese name is funny.
Yeah, Sharu.
Sharu.
Emperor Charlemagne. Good.
This guy.
Good.
I like the way he handles his sword.
That's another simple one.
The individual strands on his hair move as well. It's not super noticeable, but it is there.
Yeah, I think it's just a little too subtle for me overall, but I do like that the emblem over there glows on his, over there on the right. I like how that pops up.
I like the way his cape flows. It doesn't just jiggle, it actually flows.
You know what, that is actually a good flowing animation there. Yeah, I like that much better than when they just wiggle the cape around for sure. I feel like I like it on, at least on par with the previous Funville guy. I think I like it on a similar level.
I like this, I don't know if it's just my preference, but I like this better than Quasar Dragon.
Huh, that's pretty high up there.
It is. Maybe I just like swords.
Yeah, maybe you do.
It's like, I tend to gravitate towards the, like, human-looking cards. Maybe it's just a preference thing, but I do like this card.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust my tiers a bit as well, just because now that we've seen a bit more.
If you look at Charles's, I have no idea what he's holding in his other hand. The little dangling things, they actually move.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what it is, and I don't think it does anything, but it does move.
This is one of those, the more you look at it.
I don't quite like it as much as Colossal Warrior, but I do quite like it.
Alright, so let's go to the next one.
Yeah, I think this one is Shogun Saga, but I have to double check.
It is. Yes, that is Shiranui Shogun Saga.
Alrighty.
And I can say that with utmost confidence despite barely having played against Shiranui.
I tried playing it once. I got really confused.
I got bored of it because zombies.
Yeah.
Zombies just bore me to death, and I hate that they get so much support.
There's only 2 zombie archetypes that I find interesting. The first one, Mayakashi, although that just could be the artwork talking. The second is, unfortunately, Eldritch.
Fight my shiny metal ass!
Because that is a very interesting deck to pilot.
Yeah, I hate that they're so good, but, like, it's still interesting. Anyway, so this is, they actually have the particle effect on the sword this time, both of them, which I really like.
If you look at the flame sword, if you look at the fire one, it's actually really anime-like. Like, specifically the way it's shaded. It's very cel-shaded.
Well, yeah, that's because it's still, like, its own object. Like, despite being, like, technically pure fire, it is an actual object that you move around in live 2D, so I guess that's why it looks like that.
It's probably just like a looping animation that's played on top of it, although I don't have that much experience with that, so I can't really say for sure.
I see.
I do like the other parts of it. Unlike Sun Horsey Boy, other parts of this card actually moves.
Yeah, its robes are moving as well. The hair is also swinging. I actually do appreciate this one more than Charlemagne.
Interestingly, I'm not a huge fan of the lower part of the cloak. I think it's a little too stiff, but the other parts I do like.
Like Charlemagne, I wish there was a little bit more dynamic movement, but I think for this one it just kind of works better. I don't know, it and Charlemagne are kind of on the... Shogun Saga and Charlemagne are like kind of the same for me.
I'm going to put this... They are very similar, but I like Shogun Saga slightly less, so it's going underneath. Alrighty, last card. Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, because they had to separate the name because people were mispronouncing it all over the place, but also it's now very difficult to search for on Master Duel. This one, I'm not a huge fan of it actually.
That is extremely basic. They didn't feel like adding much to it.
It actually looks kind of goofy to me.
I think this is actually on the level of Quasar to me, just because of how little there is going for it. Like, there's not a lot to say about this at all.
Yeah, He just raises his sword and he's like, yeah! Yes! That's basically it. Does he have wings?
No, that is a cape. That is, yeah, that's not wings.
It's little, they look like wings. They look like bat wings or cicada wings or something. I don't know. But his little cape thing moves a little bit, but...
That's the most interesting part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It doesn't do anything, really. It's just, it moves for the sake of moving.
I feel like I'll just have it above Quasar, but that's about all I can say for that.
His breastplate moves a little bit. Like, his upper body moves a tiny bit, but not enough to actually be interesting. I think the breastplate moving prevents it from being in 4th rate, but I think I'm gonna put this in 3rd rate Duelist.
Okay.
At least they kind of tried. Unlike Towers, of which they did not at all.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that was the end of this tier list. How did you like this compared to the other ones?
Well, for one, this was much easier to record because we did a much smaller selection of cards in a shorter amount of time. But also, my interest in animation grew over time, so I felt like a bit more into this. So overall, this one, yeah, the synchro stuff was pretty fun to do, honestly. Plus, some of my favorites are here too. Just so good, so good.
Yeah, there's surprisingly some really good ones, and like not a whole lot of bad ones. Just the 2 really.
I'm gonna drop my tier list into chat here so that you can see how I ended up ranking it. I think ours is pretty similar though, just from both of our inputs and stuff.
I'll just edit it into the video somewhere.
Yes, future you will be editing this.
And I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy. There you go.
I'm glad that Stardust and Red Dragon got in the high tiers.
Me too. Yeah, I like how this one turned out ultimately. And I'm glad that some of my favorites really did end up looking pretty good.
Alrighty. And we're gonna end it there. Join us next time whenever that video is ready, because it takes a long time to edit, where we review Xyz monsters, including Gustav Max.
I like trains.
Gustav Max. Gustav.
I can't wait for that card. But until then, I've been Kenyaki.
And I'm Seth.
You've been beautiful. I actually remembered my outro today, and we will see you later.
Later.